You bought a football club.
I know.
Like, that is just mental. Did you ever imagine lacing up your boots as a kid? Was you thinking about buying a club? Because everything you've done in your life seems quite strategic.
I wouldn't say it's something that I dreamed of as a kid, but it's definitely something that I thought about as a young player, or dreamed about as a young player. You know, I always wanted to own a football club. You know, I never had aspirations of being a coach or a manager. You know, I just didn't think I'd be any good at that. But I wanted to own a club. I knew I'd think I could be good at that. And that's what I always wanted. And obviously when I moved to America and I had the opportunity to own a team at the end of, you know, my time at the Galaxy, I snapped it up because I knew that that's what I wanted to put in the contract, and they gave me it.
Is that the best deal in football history, that deal? It's got to be.
It was a pretty good one, to be fair. It was a good one. I don't think they'll do it again.
It's like Jordan, you're messing it up for everyone else.
I don't think they'll do it again, but you know, I was very lucky, and then, you know, it was all about picking the place, you know, and obviously, for me to have played in LA for 6 years and obviously travelled around America, you know, obviously Miami didn't have a team. They had a team back in the day, but they didn't have a team at the time. And I always loved Miami as a city. I hadn't spent much time there, but I knew the passion of the people. I knew the diversity of what Miami had. And I knew that in the future, when we had a team, I wanted to be able to attract, you know, some of the best players in the world. And when you're living in Miami and you've got that lifestyle, that's an important part of it. It's an important draw for players around the world. And I think that's one of the reasons why I had a great time in LA. Because it was a great city. It was a great city for the family. You know, the kids had an amazing time. Victoria loved it, and we were welcomed with open arms. So, you know, that putting all of that into, you know, what I wanted and my vision. You know, I learned from managers like the boss. I learned from things that he'd told me over the years. I went to him and asked for his advice on, you know, how
he was going to him and saying, "Listen, buddy,
I went to him once and said to him, you know, how I'm starting this team. How would you run it? How would, you know, your philosophy? I want to learn from you. Can you?" And he sat me down for a couple of hours and he told me, you know, what I should do and what players I should be looking for and how I should run the academy. And that's really what I've tried to do. And then I also learnt from people like Florentino Pérez, you know, because, you know, with Florentino, he has this crazy vision of always bringing the greatest players to the club and building this unbelievable stadium. And, you know, with what the boss told me, the boss was like, okay, the academy is really important. So when I first moved to LA, I turned around to the commissioner of the league and said, how many academies are in the league? He said, none. And I was like, how is that possible? Where do the players come from? He said, well, there just isn't. I said, okay, for longevity and the future of this league and the future of this game in this country, academy systems are important. I was brought up in one, you were brought up in one. You know how important academy systems are. You have to have one in each of the clubs in the MLS. Now, every one of the clubs in the MLS has that academy systems, and all of these young players that are coming through, you know, they're all coming through this academy system, and that's not just good for the game, it's good for every MLS club, but it's good for the future of the country in America. You know, to have all of these players coming through, you know, from local areas is such an important part of it. And as much as I love seeing the players and the team that we have created at Miami, you know, obviously you've got Leo, you've got Sergio, you've got Jordi Alba, you've got Luis Suarez, but when I see them passing around the pitch and all of a sudden they pass to Benjamin Kramashi, who has come through our academy from a young kid and is now playing with these players, that makes me proud. That makes me proud, and it's such an important part of the future of the game there. So yeah, it was a great deal. It's been a lot of work, and it's been a huge challenge for the last 12 years now. But you know, being able to arrive in our stadium and see the players that we have and the success that we've had so far, you know, on the pitch and off the pitch, all the hard work has been worth it.
You mentioned talking to the commissioner. Is that actually you, David Beckham, talking to the commissioner, or is it one of your team?
Oh no, it's me.
Oh, I
It's
love that.
me. You know, I've always had a great relationship with the commissioner, Don Garber, and when I first moved to America, you know, he knew that I was moving there to be a LA Galaxy player, but he also knew that I was moving there to try and lift the game in the US, and that was part of, you know, my job as a player, also as a future owner, to be able to raise, you know, the profile of the game. And you know, I love the fact that when I moved there, I think there was only 14 teams in the league. Now there's going to be 30, I think, next season. I think there's 26 stadiums specifically for football now throughout the league, whereas I think there was probably 6 when I was there, when I first moved there. So a lot has changed over the years, and I feel very proud that I've been part of that change, but I know that there's still a lot of work to do. But I think what we've done in Miami, when you bring someone like Leo to America, you know, I always said that it was our gift as an ownership group and as a person that, you know, owns the club. I wanted to do something for the game, but I also wanted to do something for America, because they'd given me so much over the years and they've given me so much love, that to bring Leo to inspire the next generation of players in America, that's what we wanted to do.
It's a beautiful gift, that, isn't it? Jesus.
I mean, honestly, to walk in that stadium and to see him, you know, I still get emotional about it now when I watch him each game. The fact that he is playing at our team. He's playing at my team. I can't believe we've got a player of that magnitude playing for our team.
What's he like behind the scenes? Is he great with the kids and like time, and because you don't see a lot of that?
Do you know? I think that one of the things that I learned from the boss over the years, and it wasn't something that he specifically told me. One of the things that I learned from the boss was, it's not about bringing the biggest and best players, it's about bringing the right players. If you can bring the biggest and best players that is the right player, then there's not many of them around. But with Leo, that's what we knew that we were bringing. And I knew that, yes, he was going to be successful on the field, but I also knew that he was going to help our club off the field as well. And I think that that's why it was important to surround himself with the right network, you know, with Sergio, with Luis, with Geordie. As soon as you put those people around him, making sure that his family are happy, making sure that his kids have got the right school, making sure all of those elements are so important to bring in a player like that. But the one thing that Leo is good at is teaching. He's good at teaching the young players that are coming in from the academy. He doesn't make any player feel, you know, below him. Wow. He's that player that will stay out on the training ground teaching the young kids, going to watch the academy kids playing.
I didn't think
you know, he'll be, you know, we've seen it over the years. He'll be the first in the gym and he'll be the last out the gym.
It's so surprising because we don't see that, yeah? We associate that with his rival, Cristiano Ronaldo. But, Messi's just natural. But he works at this. He's working behind the scenes. And
I don't think you get to that level without having that within you. You know, you mentioned Cristiano. You know, I've heard that from multiple people about him as a player and how much he works at it and how much he works at, you know, the elements that he's been praised at, you know, for many, many years. But Leo, for me, I'll take you back to the first day that he came into our training ground. He arrived at about 6:50 in the morning, and there was nobody in the training facility apart from one guy to let him in. He arrived at 6:50.
That's nuts, man.
And the team weren't training till 10. Team weren't training till 10.
What's he doing then?
Preparing. He's in the gym. He's warming up. He's doing all of the things that you expect a young kid to do, and he's still doing them now at his age. And he's everything that he's won in his career, you would expect him to be a bit more relaxed. But he's. If I had to describe him with one, he's a winner. He's simple. As simple as that, is a winner, and not in the sense of what he's won, but he's still hungry. He's still hungry for championships. He still gets angry at players for not doing the right thing. He still gets angry when he loses games. You know, those kind of things. You know, even when he's not playing, he gets angry. You know, he's on the side of you know, when he's not playing, he's been injured, he's there at every game.
Wow.
He doesn't have to be there at every game, but he's there at every game. That's the type of player and person he is. You know, it's unbelievable to see.
Is that would you go as far as to say probably the most dedicated, hungriest footballer you've been around?
At his level, without a doubt. At his level, without a doubt. You know,
Wow.
to still be like he is now is unbelievable. But we knew that that's what we were bringing.